Good morning, sisters. How are you?
Good morning.
Oh, we're
Sam.
fine.
Yeah,
Oh
we're
my
great.
God.
I have a teapot. It's
An
the
English
Interesting.
teapot.
it's the Vox
Oh,
Pot
very
teapot.
nice. Yeah.
I love
Lav-
the teapot.
Lavender
Yeah.
teapot. Yeah.
I don't
It's
know
very
about
nice.
what's inside.
Well, why don't you take a peek?
You go ahead, Joe. Take a
Okay,
peek.
I'll take this one right here.
Okay. Well, what does it say?
Oh my goodness. What's your definition of a day well spent?
Oh, wow. Okay.
A day well spent means, first of all, that I come in touch with people that I know and we have a wonderful talk. And another, a definition of a day well spent is that no disasters happen. And I guess a day well spent is that a day well spent.
Okay. Okay, next question is what are your deepest and most profound responsibilities? Well, I've had some really serious responsibilities in my life, and teaching and being head of school and working with the sisters in the order, and it's been a wonderful experience. But right now I'm retired, and so my most profound experience is kind of like what Sister Jo was saying. You get up in the morning and you think, here I am with another day, and I like to just, I like to say to God, whatever happens today, may it be for the building of your kingdom, and may the world be a little bit better because of this day. And then you just have to wait and see what happens. Sometimes I know ahead of time, but most of the time I don't.
Oh my goodness. What false belief did you hold on to for far too long? That's a whopper. What false belief? I think for a long time I thought that our country was the best in the world, which is definitely a false belief. Because with my experience in Brazil, with my experience with other cultures, you find out right away we are not the smartest people in the world. We're probably on the other side. That we can always learn from others.
Mhm.
And I think it is a freeing sensation when you come to that realization. I was so happy when I went to Brazil because it gave me a whole new outlook on life and how wonderful other people are and how intelligent other people are. Perhaps not educated, but intelligent. And I think that was one of my among many, that was one of my big ones.
Could I just add to that I always say, and you mentioned it with our education, I went as a teacher, but in Brazil I became a student,
Yes,
and they were the teachers.
that's right.
Not only Brazil, here too, in the classroom. You want to take one?
Oh. What is it that you most deeply and profoundly love?
Wow.
Well, I most deeply and profoundly love the fact that I have spent many years with great women and men, and what I have learned and what they have done to help me to change my life. I was not that way back. I was thinking that I knew everything, and almost like what you were saying, Joan. But the fact is that these people, and any of them, and even the sisters I live with, if I'm open, they have profoundly changed me. And that is what has helped me to make profoundly love anybody that I come in touch with.
That's obvious. Okay. What was the biggest change you had to overcome inside yourself in order to live a full, just, and joyful life? Well, it's very close to what you were saying, Joe. I think to really move toward freedom, to be free of, what do other people think? Am I responsible for everything, or am I participating in something bigger than I am? And that's very freeing for me. I think does that answer the question? Inside myself, yes. I mean, just realize I'm not the center of the world, and I'm not responsible totally. I am responsible, but responsible in a communal sense. Okay.
Responsible for our little part
That's right.
of the world
That's right.
and not
Hmm.
for the whole world.
That's right. Yeah.
This one just keeps falling out.
Hmm. That's for you.
Other than your mother or father, who showed you the most love as a child? My godmother, who was my father's sister. I was very close to her, and she was lovable and ornery, and used to tell stories all the time. Just to give you an example, one time when we were driving down from Dayton to Cincinnati, I saw these. I was about 5 or 6, I guess. I saw these cows on the hill, and I said to her, "Why is it those cows don't fall off the hill? Because they're standing like this." And she said to me, "Well, don't you know that God knows which cows are going to live on hills, so he makes 2 legs shorter than the other."
And you believed it.
I believed her, yes. And we grew up with her telling all kinds of stories like that. I just loved her.
Where was your safe place as a child? I have to say that it was the safe place. I didn't have a safe place, but it was with my family. And we would come home from school, especially when my mom was around, because Dad worked all day. But the safe place for me was when we came home and we told about what happened at school. And I don't know if that makes it a safe place, but I was comfortable. And I was not afraid, unless we got in trouble, and then we had to come back and face the consequences. But it was a safe place for me.
I would agree with you on that. We would come home from school, and Mom would sit down with us, and we'd tell her what happened today. And you always knew that when you got home. We had the habit of, if we left or we came back, we always kissed our parents or anybody who was in the house. And that still is a family tradition. It's just a place to come and be safe.
Yeah. We had that habit too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oops, upside down. Now tell me of a truly beautiful experience you had one time. Oh, no, I think an experience that really touched me so much, I thought I couldn't hold it. I had been provincial, and our province was bigger. This was back in the 70s, and it was the end of my term, and we were having a big Jubilee Mass. And all the sisters were there, and it was so beautiful, the singing and the union. You could just feel the joy and the unity. And after being 5 years, trying to build that kind of spirit, I experienced it, and I was walking on a cloud when I walked out of that church
That's
that day.
wonderful.
I'll never forget it.
That's wonderful. You only take one.
I know. I'm trying.
We're trying to get this empty.
Yeah.
Have you ever really hurt someone or let someone down? What happened? Yes, when I was on the team, I had to fire one of the sisters from a job she was doing here in the house. And it hurt her terribly. And what happened was that for 5 years, she stayed away from me. And about the 5th year, she came to me and she said, I can't be mad at you anymore.
Oh.
And we sat down and talked, and I explained to her what the problem
Why you
had
had to
been.
do that.
But she wouldn't listen to it at the time, but she was ready to listen to it at that time.
That's great.
And we made reconciliation, and
That's beautiful.
we've been very good friends ever since.
Ever. What are your deepest and most profound gifts? Wow.
Oh.
I'm glad I didn't get
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that's a. You know, I think somebody asked me that once before. That, you know, as I look at my, I think of the Catcher in the Rye. The Catcher in the Rye helped children to get over the fence, and I think, you know, like, I think I have times in my life when I've been able to help things happen, and and I think that's a gift to be able to do that. So, yeah.
It doesn't want to come out. What's the most important thing in your life? I think the most important thing in my life is being a sister of Notre Dame. To me, that has been a blessing. It's been my life. And I remember when I came back from Brazil, I was getting counseling, and I walked into the counselor one day and said, how can I stay a sister in Notre Dame and leave the church?
Yeah, you're not the first one to say that.
And she said, sit down. But being a sister of Notre Dame and living with women who have the same goals and ideals and prayer life that are so important to me.
Oh my gosh. Who is your hero and why?
Oh.
You know what pops into my head right now, and she had nothing to do with my life, is your Harper.
Oh.
And Harper is her niece.
Great grand niece.
And Harper, for me, is the kind of hero that Harper helps everybody and makes everybody happy. And I don't know why Harper, when I read that, and the hero, for me, it's this girl, Harper, who is a hero because she made me realize that that's what you do. You reach out to other people. And Harper does that. And so for me,
Harper's 6 years old.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think you have heroes that come and go in your life. I mean, it's very hard to choose. For me, it'd be very hard to choose one hero.
And so, I mean, I could have had a lot, but when I read that word hero, and just last night in her room, Harper left her a note on paper. She came to visit her. And I said, see, Harper was reaching out to Joan. And so, anyway, Harper at this moment is my hero.
Good. Okay. What's your definition of a life well lived? Well, I'm not quite to the point where I can say this is what a life well lived felt like or feels like. I think a life well lived is one where there's constant growth. You're constantly becoming, and there's a sense of joy in becoming, and so much of the becoming is not it certainly is not in isolation. It's with other people, but it's just the adventure of entering into becoming.
Shall we finish the
Yeah,
whole
let's do
pot?
that. We can stop with a clear conscience.
What is your biggest gift? What do you love to share with the world? To me, those are two different things. I think my biggest gift is the gift of being able to listen to people and try to really hear what they're saying and respond to them where they are. And what do you love to share with the world? I want to share with the world how great religious life is and how great God is. It's just become almost a goal for me right now, that God is so good. And if we could just get that across to people, you know, that's what I'd like to share with the world.
I think you get it.
Now, this is your last chance to do it well. Okay.
Here it goes. Can you recall a time you cried with joy?
Mm.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I was crying last night in the film. When I relived all of that and Dot getting in the boat and then showing the hammocks on that boat and that and all of that and they were tears of joy because I relived the beautiful years that I had in Brazil.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, describe a time when someone really helped you. Oh, so many times. Which one should I choose? I remember when, before I entered, I was working at General Electric, and this Franciscan came in, and he knew I was quitting in a couple of weeks and I was going to join the convent. And he said to me, I still remember this, it's so long ago, he said to me, give it all you got.
Oh.
And that has helped me. You know, the other day I went to a funeral, a Franciscan funeral, and I thought of him, and I thought, oh, that's still so meaningful. Give it all you got.
Mm-hmm. And you did, too. And you have.
I would say so. Oh my goodness. What are you most afraid of? I guess what I'm most afraid of is that I'll live to be 100.
Understand.
You understand? Amen.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that.